Hello everyone and welcome to our deep dive into the fascinating world of biomolecules. Today, we are focusing on one of the most crucial components of life, enzymes. These incredible molecules are responsible for making almost all biological reactions happen at speeds necessary for life. We'll start with the basics, then gradually explore their complex mechanisms, regulatory aspects, and even their applications. Get ready for an exciting journey through easy, medium, hard, and hardest levels of understanding enzymes. Ready to unravel the secret behind how your body performs countless tasks every second? Let's begin with the fundamentals of enzymes. So, what exactly are enzymes? Imagine them as your body's tiny, super efficient workers. They are biological catalysts, which means they speed up chemical reactions without getting used up themselves. Most enzymes are proteins, complex molecules with specific 3D shapes. Without them, many vital reactions in your body would be too slow to sustain life, like digestion or energy production. They are essential for every living cell, ensuring that life's processes run smoothly and efficiently. How do these amazing enzymes actually work? It's often explained by the lock and key model. Think of an enzyme as a lock and the molecule it acts upon, called the substrate, as a unique key. The enzyme has a special pocket called the active site where only its specific substrate can fit. Once the substrate binds, the enzyme transforms it into a product, then releases it, ready to catalyze another reaction. For instance, the enzyme amylase in your saliva acts as a key to unlock and break down starch, a complex carbohydrate, into simpler sugars, kickstarting your digestion. Now, let's test your understanding with a few questions. First, what is the primary chemical nature of most enzymes? Second, which part of an enzyme is responsible for binding with the substrate? And finally, give one everyday example of an enzyme's function in the human body. Think carefully about the definitions and examples we just discussed. Alright, let's build on that foundation. Time to explore the intricate details of enzyme structure and how they precisely carry out their vital functions. Enzymes are complex globular proteins, and their function is intricately linked to their three-dimensional structure. This specific shape is determined by the sequence of amino acids, which forms the primary structure, then folds into secondary structures like alpha helices and beta sheets, and finally into a unique tertiary structure. This precise 3D folding creates the active site, a small, specific region where the magic happens. This active site isn't just a simple pocket. It's a carefully arranged group of amino acid residues that perfectly positions the substrate for catalysis, ensuring maximum efficiency. While the lock and key model is a good start, the induced fit model offers a more dynamic view of enzyme action. Imagine a glove molding to your hand. Similarly, the active site of an enzyme isn't rigid. When the substrate binds, the enzyme undergoes slight conformational changes, optimizing the fit and bringing the catalytic groups into perfect alignment with the substrate. This dynamic interaction helps the enzyme stabilize the transition state, an unstable, high-energy intermediate. By doing so, enzymes dramatically lower the activation energy required for the reaction to proceed, making life's reactions happen at incredible speeds. Enzyme activity is highly sensitive to environmental conditions. Take temperature. For instance, enzymes have an optimal temperature where they work best, usually around body temperature for human enzymes. Too cold, and they slow down. Too hot, and they can denature, losing their shape and function. Similarly, pH plays a critical role. Each enzyme has an optimal pH range. Deviations can alter the enzyme's structure, affecting its active site. Finally, substrate concentration affects reaction rate. Initially, more substrate means faster reaction, but eventually, all active sites become saturated, reaching a maximum velocity. Some enzymes also need non-protein helpers called cofactors, like metal ions or organic coenzymes, to become fully active holoenzymes. Time for some medium-level challenges. First, explain the induced fit model of enzyme action. Second, how do temperature and pH primarily affect enzyme activity? Third, what is the significance of the active site in an enzyme? Fourth, distinguish between an apenzyme and a holoenzyme. And finally, give an example of a coenzyme and its origin. Take your time to recall the detailed explanations. Excellent! Now that we have a solid understanding, let's dive deeper into the quantitative aspects and regulatory mechanisms that govern enzyme behavior. Enzyme kinetics provides a quantitative understanding of enzyme-catalyzed reactions. The Michaelis-Menten equation, V equals Vmax times S divided by kilometer plus S, describes the relationship between reaction velocity and substrate concentration. Here, Vmax represents the maximum reaction rate when all active sites are saturated. Kilometer, the Michaelis constant, is the substrate concentration at half Vmax, and it inversely reflects the enzyme's affinity for its substrate. A lower kilometer means higher affinity. Understanding these parameters is crucial for characterizing enzyme efficiency and predicting how they behave under different conditions. Furthermore, enzyme inhibitors are molecules that reduce enzyme activity. Competitive inhibitors resemble the substrate and compete for the active site, increasing kilometer but not changing Vmax. Non-competitive inhibitors bind elsewhere, decreasing Vmax but not kilometer, as they don't affect substrate binding affinity. Continuing with enzyme inhibition, reversible inhibition can also be uncompetitive, where the inhibitor binds only to the enzyme-substrate complex, reducing both Vmax and kilometer. Beyond reversible inhibitors, irreversible inhibitors form strong, permanent bonds, completely inactivating the enzyme. Moving to regulation, cells employ sophisticated mechanisms to control enzyme activity. Allosteric regulation involves effectors binding to regulatory sites, causing conformational changes that alter the active site's affinity or catalytic efficiency. This often results in sigmoidal kinetics. Feedback inhibition is a common strategy where the end product of a pathway inhibits an enzyme early in the pathway, preventing overproduction. Covalent modification, like phosphorylation, can also activate or inactivate enzymes. Lastly, inactive enzyme precursors, called zymogens, are proteolytically cleaved to become active, ensuring enzymes like digestive proteases are only active when and where needed. Enzymes are systematically classified by the IUPAC into 6 major classes based on the type of reaction they catalyze. Oxidoreductases handle oxidation-reduction reactions, like those involving electron transfer. Transferases move functional groups from one molecule to another, such as in phosphorylation reactions by kinases. Hydrolases break bonds by adding water, a crucial process in digestion carried out by enzymes like proteases and lipases. Lyases cleave bonds without hydrolysis or oxidation, often forming double bonds. Isomerases rearrange atoms within a molecule, converting one isomer to another. Finally, ligases form new bonds, usually coupled with ATP hydrolysis for energy, playing roles in synthesis reactions. This classification provides a universal language for understanding enzyme function across all forms of life. Let's tackle some harder questions now. First, how does a competitive inhibitor affect kilometer and Vmax, and why? Second, describe the mechanism of feedback inhibition in a metabolic pathway. Third, differentiate between allosteric regulation and covalent modification. Fourth, what is the primary function of enzymes classified as hydrolases? Fifth, explain why kilometer is inversely related to an enzyme's affinity for its substrate. Sixth, how do zymogens get activated? And finally, if an enzyme shows sigmoidal kinetics, what does that imply about its regulation? You've mastered the complex aspects. Now, let's push the boundaries and delve into the cutting edge and competitive depth of enzyme science, including their engineering and advanced applications. For a more precise analysis of enzyme kinetics, especially in the presence of inhibitors, we use linear transformations of the Michaelis-Menten equation, such as the Lineweaver-Burk plot. This double reciprocal plot, where 1/v is plotted against 1s, yields a straight line. The y-intercept gives 1 vmax, and the x-intercept gives -1 km, making it easy to determine these crucial kinetic parameters. Crucially, the Lineweaver-Burk plot helps us visually distinguish different types of inhibition. Competitive inhibitors cause lines to intersect at the y-axis, non-competitive inhibitors intersect at the x-axis, and uncompetitive inhibitors result in parallel lines. This graphical analysis is indispensable for researchers studying enzyme mechanisms and drug development, allowing precise characterization of enzyme behavior and inhibitor action. At the heart of enzyme efficiency lies their ability to stabilize the transition state of a reaction. Unlike simply binding the substrate, enzymes have evolved active sites that perfectly complement the unstable, high-energy transition state, thus lowering the activation energy barrier. This stabilization is achieved through several mechanisms. Firstly, enzymes bring substrates into optimal proximity and orientation, greatly increasing the likelihood of reaction. Secondly, they can induce strain or distortion in the substrate, pushing it towards the transition state conformation. Thirdly, active site residues can participate in acid-base catalysis by donating or accepting protons, facilitating bond cleavage or formation. Some enzymes even form transient covalent bonds with the substrate, known as covalent catalysis, or utilize metal ions to stabilize charges or activate water molecules. These sophisticated strategies collectively ensure that biochemical reactions occur at mind-boggling speeds within the mild conditions of living cells. Beyond their biological roles, enzymes are powerful tools in industry and medicine, thanks to enzyme engineering. Immobilized enzymes, for instance, are enzymes physically confined or localized to a specific region while retaining their activity. This offers immense practical advantages. They can be reused multiple times, exhibit enhanced stability, and simplify product separation. This technology has revolutionized industries. In food, amylases are used in baking, and lactase produces lactose-free dairy. In detergents, proteases and lipases efficiently remove stains. The pharmaceutical sector utilizes enzymes for synthesizing specific drug intermediates, like penicillin acylase for semisynthetic antibiotics. Biosensors, such as glucose monitors, rely on enzymes like glucose oxidase to detect specific analytes. Moving to diagnostic importance, isoenzymes are different forms of an enzyme that catalyze the same reaction but differ slightly in structure and properties. Their tissue-specific distribution makes them invaluable diagnostic markers. For example, elevated levels of the CKMB isoenzyme are a strong indicator of a heart attack, while specific LDH isoenzymes can point to liver or heart damage. These examples highlight the profound impact of enzyme science, from fundamental biology to advanced clinical applications, making them indispensable for both understanding and manipulating life processes. Challenging the notion that all enzymes are proteins, we have ribozymes, catalytic RNA molecules. Discovered by Sech and Altman, ribozymes demonstrate that RNA can not only carry genetic information but also possess enzymatic activity, playing crucial roles in processes like RNA splicing and peptide bond formation in ribosomes. This discovery expanded our understanding of biological catalysis significantly. Another fascinating development is abzymes, or catalytic antibodies. These are antibodies engineered to function as enzymes. By designing antibodies that bind tightly to and stabilize the transition state of a specific reaction, scientists can create novel catalysts for reactions that might not have natural enzymes. This field holds immense promise for developing highly specific therapeutic agents and industrial catalysts. Finally, allosteric enzymes, which exhibit sigmoidal kinetics, are vital regulators of metabolic pathways. Their activity is modulated by allosteric effectors binding to sites distinct from the active site, inducing conformational changes that alter substrate affinity or catalytic efficiency. This cooperative binding mechanism allows for fine-tuned control of metabolic flow, responding to cellular needs and maintaining homeostasis. Let's challenge your knowledge with the first set of hardest-level questions. First, on a Lineweaver-Burke plot, how would you distinguish between competitive and non-competitive inhibition? Second, explain the concept of transition state stabilization as the primary mechanism of enzyme catalysis. Third, what are the advantages of using immobilized enzymes in industrial applications? Fourth, how do isoenzymes like CKMB aid in clinical diagnosis? Fifth, differentiate between a ribozyme and an enzyme, providing an example for each. Here's the second set of challenging questions. Sixth, describe the binding energy concept and its role in lowering activation energy. Seventh, what does sigmoidal kinetics imply about an enzyme, and which type of enzymes typically exhibit it? Eighth, give two examples of how enzymes are utilized in the food industry. Ninth, explain how acid-base catalysis contributes to enzyme efficiency. And finally, discuss the significance of the X and Y intercepts on a Lineweaver-Burke plot for determining kinetic parameters. And that brings us to the end of our comprehensive journey through the world of enzymes. We've covered everything from basic definitions to advanced kinetics, regulatory mechanisms, and their profound impact on biology and industry. I hope this session has ignited your curiosity and deepened your understanding of these vital biomolecules. For more in-depth learning, practice questions, and exciting content, visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more engaging educational content. Keep learning, keep exploring, and stay curious.